Okay, so we're back and we're going to talk about what is. I know that sounds like an incomplete sentence, right? What is what?
What is?
But what we're talking about is what is reality? What is the actual situation that we're dealing with? Mm-hmm. What is the problem, really? You know, what's the truth? What are the facts? What's the objective state of the problem that we're trying to solve? Mm-hmm. And this is kind of, if we follow the same structure, this is 1A. Mm-hmm. And the reason we put what is and what you want in the same first step is because these really happen at the same time. They're directly tied together. One's going to influence the other and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes when we're figuring out what is the problem that we're dealing with, that's going to maybe influence along the way what we actually want as well. So that's why those are
and I think
together.
It helps me to think about it in really simple terms. Like if I'm in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania now, if you're not from around here, think of a town that you might be in, and I want to go to Erie, which is north. Well, the reality of where I want to go is going to be a different set of problems than if I want to go to Pittsburgh, which is south.
Definitely.
You know, so in order to completely figure out reality and what the problem is, I have to know where I'm going to. So it's 1A and 1B.
Absolutely. That's a great way to look at it. So what is, this first step is us drawing out our map, both where we are currently and where we're trying to get to as well. So the what is piece is kind of our information gathering step. It's where we need to get all the knowledge, all the information about the problem. And this can be difficult because a lot of times I know I can be tempted to just kind of assume that I know something about the problem that isn't always correct, right? We love making assumptions about things because it's a lot easier than finding the truth many times.
That's a great way. It's easier if you can just see it from your own perspective, and that's part of the problem of solving the problem, right? So if you have one person in the front of the house and one in the back of the house, and they're both describing the same house, you're seeing it from a certain perspective. So it matters that. So I guess one of the important pieces of gathering all of the correct information about reality is having the right people in on the conversation, the necessary ones.
Absolutely. And having a conversation with them. We have a natural tendency to put up walls when we have a problem. And we say, okay, well, this is how I see the problem and maybe a potential solution. Someone else is saying, well, I don't really see it that way. I see it differently. We have a tendency to say, well, okay, then you've got something wrong. You're not seeing it clearly or something there. But what we should be doing instead is, okay, if they're, I'm assuming this person is a sane, perfectly fine, healthy person. So if they're seeing something differently here, there must be something that I don't understand.
Right.
They apparently have some perspective, some knowledge, some information, input that I don't see the same way. So I should have a conversation with this person so that I understand how they're seeing this differently. And that's how we gain that information about the problem. That's how we figure out what is that's outside of our small bubble of perception, because each of us really have a limited availability to
understand and see.
To understand the world around us. So we need other people for their perspective.
We do. And I think what happens is sometimes we shift our motive of what we're trying to accomplish, and we take it off of actually solving the problem and turn it on to being right.
Oh, man.
And so we don't accept person B's information because we want to be right rather than solve the problem.
That's excellent. That's so good. It's so good. No problem solving happens if we're just trying to be right.
Right.
So at best, you've got a 50-50 chance of actually solving the problem if you're just trying to be right.
Yeah. And you may do more harm than good with a half solved problem.
Absolutely. And my favorite way to escape that tendency to want to be right is to ask questions. Focus on asking questions instead of making assertions. If we just continue to ask questions, we'll eventually find the information that we need. I think there's a bit of a misconception that we can't get to answers if we only ask questions. And I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think we'll find the more we ask questions, the more information we actually gain.
And
more common ground we find.
Right, and we're treating the other person with respect, actually asking them for their input.
Yeah.
You're going to get further. So that's good.
So think of this first piece, discovering what is, as the step of asking questions, because that really is a key component of it. And once we get this information, or you can start with 1B, the next video that we're going to cover if you want, and work back to this one. But regardless of which one you start with, we're going to move on to this next one now, which is determining what do we actually want.
Right.
Why do we see this as a problem?
Super important.
So we'll see you there.